Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chocolates Volume 4. Here we go again. We got more. So, yeah, we got some more chocolates here. We still have a long ways to go to finish this series, but um did find out some interesting things. Sometimes these one of the things to realize is when we do these single flavor tests is sometimes even if you think a chocolate's really good in mixes, there's an off note there you're covering that there might be a better option that has no off note that could actually do better. And I'm finding that some of the ones that are very popular that I even use a lot may not be the perfect one that I should be using. So we're going to find out more as we go through this series. Yeah, Cassie's excited.
No,
All right.
I don't want to eat chocolate anymore.
So to start this off, we have some. I don't have anything that's absolutely disgusting, can't stand, can't even touch it. Gross. But there's some that are pretty bad. We're going to start off with some 2 of 10s. Yeah, we're starting off with some 2 of 10s. This is an interesting one. For me, 2 of 10s, I start off with double chocolate from the Flavor Smiths. I get a plastic with a chocolate vibe going on. It's not, it really tastes plasticky with like a almost chocolate, like feel like it's almost one of those scented chocolate. Remember they used to have the scented chocolate plastic toys and stuff like that, scented like that. It's like you were licking that, and sometimes that got a little bit of flavor. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I don't know what
Like
you got out
those
of it.
ice cream bubble things.
Yes.
I also gave this one a 2. I got a super chemically and chalky. Can't even get much chocolate out of it. It's just like chemicals and chocolate or chalk. Definitely not one to reach for.
Yeah,
No.
that was not one of those. And I mean, TFS hit rate was not great, but there were some winners in there. So it's not a complete loss of the line. If you're thinking it's like Bickford, it's not. So we got my second one, milk chocolate Solubarome. I got very chemical, silly putty like taste. 2 of 10.
I'm trying to find it. Okay, there it is. I gave it a 3. It has a funky chemical off note. The chocolate is there, but it's super thin. Again, I wouldn't go out of my way to reach for this one.
Not at all. Cannot recommend these even on a slight level. We're still in twos, by the way, sadly. I mean, this week's was fun. So we got milk chocolate from Flavor Jungle. Thank God I ordered 4 bottles of this on accident. Has a darker milk chocolate in quotes attempt because it's not quite milk chocolate. Highly artificial and rather unpleasant as a single flavor test. Uh, could you cover up the off note? Maybe, but my opinion, why bother? There's better options, way better options.
So I also gave this one a 2. And my notes literally read, if you like the taste of burnt tire and medicine, this could be for you. But for me, no. It's like they took all the medicinal notes out of cough syrup and stuck it in a burnt tire and stuck it in a bottle. It's, yeah, no. Mm-mm,
It's just
mm-mm, mm-mm.
that. Oh, I'm hoping some of their others are better. They came in yesterday. Okay, you have any more twos?
Mm, nope. And we
Okay.
already went over my 3, so
Yep. Which was the Solubarome, right?
yes.
Okay. Um, so next I'm on to fours now. These are ones that I wouldn't quite recommend, but I think you could use them, sort of. It might have a specific use, but I mean, they're not like don't throw these away or don't like avoid them at all costs, but maybe just use them if you're just trying to use them up. I wouldn't go out of my way to pick them up unless it's all you had available. Double chocolate clear TPA. TFA if you'd rather. Slightly chalky, very artificial chocolate in quotes again flavored because it's again not quite a real chocolate. Um, this will get you on the board for a chocolate, but I wouldn't call it a proper chocolate. It's just kind of like almost there. 4 of 10 on this.
I did get this one a 5 because I do see where it could potentially be used if you can get by some of the off notes. Um, it's thick, dense mouthfeel, but very drying, and the chocolate is a bit dark.
Yeah, it is a little on the darker side. I forgot to mention that. All right. Do you got any other fours?
Yeah, I've got two. I've got the chocolate raw from VSO and the dessert chocolate from SSA. I gave those both 4s.
Okay, I do have the chocolate raw on that. Chocolate raw VSO is also four for me. Essence of chocolate, but not quite chocolate. And I don't mean weak. It's very much like the OG chocolate in that aspect. But here's where it changes a little bit. It's a little bit darker flavor, leaning more towards a cocoa almost, but not quite. And it's thicker texture than the OG. It's still missing that creaminess, though. That's the a big factor on that. It's really it falls into the almost like the same vein as the TPA, where it's almost chocolate, but not quite chocolate kind of vibe. Could use it, could bend it into it, but it needs help in order to do it, and then there's better options available. What do you get for your chocolate raw?
I also gave this one a 4. I said it has a bit more of a dark note than the OG, slightly thicker, but still bitter and very dry.
And I do have one other four, but it's a transition one, so I'd rather you start with your four.
Okay. The dessert chocolate SSA I gave a 4. It's super dry and bitter. Like super bitter.
I did
I
give it a
really love
five,
it.
but for specific use, basically. Dessert chocolate SSA. It's a dark, dry bakery chocolate. It seems useful to like turn a cake or a bakery into chocolate flavor, but would not use this as a standalone chocolate flavor. It's not really just chocolate. It is specifically used to kind of give you that turn your yellow cakes and your white cakes into a chocolate cake. I gave it a 5 of 10, but only because it has a use. Uh, and with that, I do have one last four, but it's a 4/5. It's borderline there. It's because the name is not flavor wise, I give it at least 5. But because it doesn't match its name, so in this part, like later on, this will be a 5 for sure or better, depending on what else is in the category. But chocolate peanut butter Purilum. I get a chocolate flavored peanut question mark, sort of. D Definitely getting a peanut, not a peanut butter out of this. It's just not enough creaminess to it for me. It reminds me of a chocolate coating of kind of like a chocolate covered espresso bean, only with a peanut inside with a little bit of a skin note. Missing the mark for name. That's why it's bumped down to a 4 from a 5, but it's not a bad flavor. I could find this useful, I mean, if you're doing a chocolate bark, peanut bark, or peanut butter bark, you could pull this into peanut butter, add a little cream to it, and it should pull right into it. But or maybe another peanut butter. But yeah, 4 or 5 on that. Almost 5 to 5, 5 of 10. It's right there.
I did give this one a 5. If it matched the name better, I probably would have given it more like a 6 or a 7. I got a dark, creamy, sweet peanut butter because I did actually get a nice creamy peanut butter, not peanuts or skin, with a slight cocoa note. It should have been named peanut butter cocoa, but it's not a bad flavor. I really like it. It needs more chocolate if it's going to be called chocolate peanut butter.
I mean, it's not a bad flavor, but it just doesn't quite hit the marks for a chocolate peanut butter. So, I mean, that's why I say 4 or 5. It's kind of right on that cusp of being there. And then you gave it a 5, so that's fine. So we can skip that one there. And then next we go, you said, I think you already did. I said the dessert chocolate. We already went over that just a second ago. That fell in the same category for us. All right, so milk chocolate Flavorah. I get the embodiment of a chocolate glaze for like a donut or a coating for a donut, chocolate coating, but darker and lacking a bit of the creaminess. Not exactly a universal milk chocolate, but useful for certain profiles, as we have in our past you've seen with one of the mixes. it does pull off that this particular profile well. It's just not just a universal milk chocolate, so it's a 5 of 10 because it's niche.
I also gave this one a 5. I got a somewhat chocolate vibe mixed with pencil shavings.
Mm.
I got the pencil shavings out of this one. Very disappointing.
I get it if it's turned up. This is we did mix this at zero point 0.5. Uh, but yeah, I get it if it's turned up a bit. But I didn't get them off of this. So I get where if you're a little bit extra sensitive to me on that, it'd be easy. I would not want to be Jamilin and vape this flavor.
No.
All right. So still in the 5 of 10s. Glamour Chocolate Molinberry. Can't believe how much I used to use this and how much of this I bought and still have. Decent milk chocolate, kinda. It's like a generic hot cocoa packets where they don't really have enough cocoa in them, but they still have that milk chocolate. So it's kind of like, watery almost. The tiny bit dry shows up more. The dryness shows up more in single flavor testing than does in mixes. This does fade a bit in mixes, so mix accordingly. Depending on your palate, you'll notice a fade more or less, but there is always a little bit of fade at the very least. Um, the slight off notes in this, I think, and we've already tested this. Do other chocolates being a replacement for it? So there are other chocolates can replace it that do work better in the same profiles. So that I'm gonna give it a 5 of 10 because if you don't have to cover up any off notes, you'll wind up with a better mix. 5 of 10.
I actually did give this one a 6 because I know it mixes well. It's a bit dry and dark, definitely better in mixes than single flavor tests. It's not super smooth, and as we all know, it does fade in mixes.
Yeah. Some people get more fade than others, but there's always at least a slight fade. It takes a while sometimes, but there's a slight fade. If you back it, it tends to fade less, but still, that is a negative notch on it. You can't just throw it in there and say, "Hey, everybody's gonna taste this," because it doesn't work that way. And then, you have any more fives?
Yeah, I had the double chocolate clear from TPA. I gave that one a 5. It's thick, dense mouthfeel, but drying, and the chocolate flavor is a bit dark.
Right. That's when I got the slightly chocolatey artificial chocolate flavored, and it's almost a chocolate, but not quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a 4 for me, but I can see I mean, 4s and 5s, that's apples to apples, just different apples. So chocolate mousse VTA is a 6 of 10 for me. Um, could have been 7 if we didn't know there's a better one out there. But chocolate mousse with a decent mouthfeel, other than being a bit dry, and that dryness carries a little slight like off note to it. Like it just doesn't quite come on. It screws up that creamy feel and that mousse like consistency a little bit too much. So 6 of 10, and that is 90% because we've already went over it last episode. SSA kind of took that spot from it. If you didn't have SSA, this would have ranked higher.
I also gave this one a 6. It's a bit dry for a mousse, has a nice dark chocolate flavor, and it has a good, decent mouthfeel, but like I said, it's a little too dry for a mousse, especially with, knowing that the SSA is like perfect.
Hmm. Like,
Okay.
I mean, you can be happy with this. If you have a lot of it, use it up before you buy the SSA if you got the opportunity, or use it at least, because once you do, you just kind of hard to go back to something that's very similar, but just not quite there. Yeah, compared to the other. Now, do you have any others?
That was it.
That's it for
That's the
me
best
too.
one.
So that's it for Chocolates Volume 4. We got through this one. This was so far, unfortunately, the least whelming one. This is a very, very underwhelming episode. Like some of the ones in here, like, man, I used to use tons of Glamour chocolate, but realizing that some of my shortfallings in some mixes, part of it could have been the Glamour Chocolate and trying to force it to work rather than getting something that just works. There are those options out there, and that's what the series is about, is trying to find those options so you can make stuff with this and it'll be okay. But then you can make something with a better chocolate, and instead of being okay, it's like, wow. Yeah. And
Just
so
save yourself a bunch of time and money and just buy this one.
crazy woman.
Obviously, we like it. I've got a 120 ml bottle.
I think I have 120 out here too. It is really good. And actually, in most cases, there are some cases where the Glamour chocolate would be more apt to be the right chocolate than the mousse, but the mousse actually can take a lot of those spots. It really truly can and be a better option. That said, though, volume four is done. We will be back for next week for volume five, which we will yeah, just we'll be in. We have been doing 10 per episode. Next week will be 11 just because I accidentally grabbed an extra one. I didn't want to put it away. Literally. Oh, I had extra bottle. Had to make an extra bottle and for testing and up. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna put that back away. We'll just use it. But yeah, next week will be volume five. We did just get a bunch of more chocolates in that I've never tested before at all or even tried. So we got it just let's keeps getting bigger and bigger, which is making Cassie so happy. She's thrilled.
Yeah, I'm completely ignoring you now.
All right. Well, we'll get out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Whatever you might celebrate. Just try to have a safe season. Be careful on the roads during the more fun part of the season and the weather. Good night, everybody. Bye.